Hello students, from this lecture we are going to study chapter number 14, respiration in plants. In previous chapter we have studied about photosynthesis process in detail related with plants. As you know, various metabolic processes, biochemical processes take place in body of living organisms. One of the important this type of process, that is respiration, which take place in plants and animals both. As we know very well, as being human being, all of us breathe to survive for our life. But why is breathing is essential to life? What happens when we breathe? Also, do all living organisms, including plants and microbes, they also can breathe? So many questions arises in our mind. Exactly what is respiration? If we talk, respiration is an energy releasing, enzymatically controlled catabolic process which involves a stepwise oxidative breakdown of food substance inside living cells. All living organisms need energy for carrying out daily life activities like absorption, transport, movement, reproduction, or even we can say breathing. Where does all this energy come from? We know we eat food for energy requirement, but how is this energy taken from food? How is this energy utilized? Do all foods give the same amount of energy? Because we take in our daily routine various type of food. Do plants eat? Where do plants get their energy from? As well as microorganisms also for their energy requirements. They do eat food or not? So this type of questions also arises in our mind related with this topic. Now, if you may wonder at the several questions raised above, they may be seems to be very disconnected. But in reality, the process of breathing is very much connected to the process of release of energy from food. So, let's try by studying this topic in detail, that understanding how this happens, how does it take place. All the energy required for life processes is obtained by oxidation of some macromolecules that we call food. These macromolecules in the sense of carbohydrate, proteins, lipids or some other. Only green plants and cyanobacteria can prepare their own food. They are autotrophs. By the process of photosynthesis, they trap light energy and convert it into chemical energy that is stored in the bonds of carbohydrates like glucose, sucrose and starch. And this entire mechanism of photosynthesis you have already studied in chapter number 13, photosynthesis in higher plants. We must remember that in green plants too, not all cells, tissues and organs photosynthesize. Only cells containing chloroplast organelle that are most often located in the superficial layers carry out photosynthesis. As you know very well, green parts of plant and mainly it is leaf. Even in green plants, all other organs, tissues and cells that are non-green need food for oxidation. So each and every part of plant, it requires this type of food item. Food has to be translocated to other non-green plants from green part to non-green parts. Animals are heterotrophic. They depend on plants for their food requirement. They obtain food from plants directly. They are herbivores, or indirectly they are carnivores. Saprophytes like fungi are dependent on dead and decaying matter. What is important to recognize is that ultimately all the food that is required for life processes come from photosynthesis. Okay. This chapter deals with cellular respiration or the mechanism of breakdown of food material within the cell to release energy and the trapping of this energy for synthesis of ATP, because the main source of energy, that is ATP, you know it very well. So this way the breaking down of complex molecules take place to produce energy in cytoplasm and in the mitochondria. Photosynthesis is take place within the chloroplast in eukaryotic in green plants, where the breakdown of complex molecule to yield energy take place in the cytoplasm and in mitochondria. So this way in eukaryotes this process take place. Breaking of carbon-carbon bonds, CC bonds of complex compounds through oxidation within the cells, leading to release of considerable amount of energy, that is called respiration. Compounds that are oxidized during this process, they are known as respiratory substrate. So the compounds or molecules they undergo this process of respiration, they are known as respiratory substrates. Usually carbohydrates are oxidized to release energy, but it is not like that only carbohydrates, but proteins, fats, even organic acids, they can be used as respiratory substances in some plants under certain condition. During oxidation within a cell, all the energy containing in respiratory substrate is not released free into the cell or in a single step. It is released in a series of slow, stepwise, that is chain of reaction controlled by enzymes, and it is trapped as chemical energy in the form of ATP. So that's why it is important to understand that the energy released by oxidation in respiration is not used directly, but it is needs to be utilized. Here ATP acts as the energy currency of the cell. This statement is very important. ATP is known as energy currency of the cell. This energy trapped in ATP is utilized in various energy requiring processes of the living organisms, and the carbon skeleton produced during the respiration is used as precursors for biosynthesis of other molecule in the cell. So this way entire mechanism of respiration take place in higher organisms, in plants and animal, and the process of respiration that requires oxygen. If we talk about plants, in plants oxygen is taken in by stomata, lenticles and root hairs. So this way the process of respiration take place in plants. Now one more question, that is, do plants breathe? If you talk about this, this answer of question is not quite so direct. Plants require O2 for respiration to occur, and they also give out carbon dioxide. Plants, they have system in place that ensure the availability of oxygen. Plants, unlike animals, have no specifically organs for gaseous exchange. They have stomata and lenticles for this purpose. There are several reasons why plants can get along without respiratory organs. Of these reasons, the first one is each plant part take care its own gas exchange needs. There is very little transport of gases from one plant part to another take place. Secondly, plants do not present great demand of gas exchange. Roots, stems and leaves, they respire at rates far lower than animals. Only during photosynthesis a large volume of gases exchange, and each leaf is well adapted to take care of its own needs during this period. When cells photosynthesize, availability of oxygen is not a problem in these cells since O2 is released within the cell. The third reason is that the distance that gases must during diffusion, even in large bulkily in plants, is not great. Each living cell in a plant is located quite close to the surface to the plant, and this is true for leaves. So, when this process takes place, the plant involves their various parts. In woody stems and roots, what about this? In stem, the living cells are organized in thin layer inside and beneath the bark. They also have opening called lenticles. The cells in the interior are dead and provide only mechanical support. So, most of cells of a plant have at least a part of their surface in contact with air. That is important here. This is also facilitated by the loose packing of parenchyma cells in leaves, stems and roots, which provide an interconnected network of air spaces. So we can understand this easily. So in plants, this way, these parts are involved during this type of exchange of gases. During the process of respiration, oxygen is utilized and carbon dioxide, water and energy, they are released as products. That is important here. During the process of respiration, oxygen is utilized and carbon dioxide, water and energy are released as product. The combustion of reaction requires oxygen, but some cells they live where oxygen may or available or may not be available also. So we can think about this situation in organism where oxygen is not available. There are sufficient reasons to believe that the first cell on this planet live in an atmosphere that lack oxygen. Even among present day living organisms, we know that several they are adapted to anaerobic condition. It means that for respiration oxygen is not required. Some of these organisms are facilitated anaerobes, while in others the requirement for anaerobic condition is obligate. In any case of all living organisms retain the enzymatic machinery to partially oxidize glucose without the help of oxygen. So this way living organisms they show aerobic or anaerobic type of respiration. Here one more word is important, that is respiratory quotient. That is actually in short known as RQ, is the ratio of the volume of carbon dioxide produced to the volume of oxygen consumed in respiration over a period of time. So simply we can understand that is RQ is the ratio of volume of carbon dioxide produced to the volume of oxygen here. So we can understand the meaning of RQ. RQ is equal to 1 for carbohydrate and less than 1 for protein and peptones. So this way when we understand the process of respiration in plants, this term respiratory quotient or RQ is also important here. Types of respiration. Now as we know very well, when respiration process take place, then we can say two types of respiration, aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration take place in higher plants or animals. Anaerobic respiration it is observed in some lower organisms. During aerobic respiration, requirement of oxygen is there. It is essential. During anaerobic respiration, oxygen is not required. That we are going to study in detail in this chapter, both aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. First, aerobic respiration, where requirement of oxygen is there. Without oxygen, it is not possible. This aerobic respiration, for our understanding, it is divided into three types, three steps. First, glycolysis, second, Krebs cycle, and third one, that is terminal oxidation. So gradually this process of aerobic respiration take place in eukaryotes. Step by step it take place. Various chemical reactions, biochemical processes take place through glycolysis, Krebs cycle and terminal oxidation, and this way aerobic respiration process take place in higher organisms. Now let's study the first phase of aerobic respiration, that is glycolysis. This term actually is derived from Greek language, that is Greek word glycolysis. Glykos means sugar and lysis it means splitting. So it's one type of splitting of sugar. Entire scheme of glycolysis was given by Gustav Embden, Otto Meyerhof and J. Parnas, and that's why it is oftenly referred as the EMP pathway also. So glycolysis, the first step of aerobic respiration, it is also known as EMP pathway. In anaerobic respiration organism, it is the only process in respiration. So those organisms, they respire by anaerobic respiration where oxygen is not required. This mechanism is observed in their cells also. Glycolysis occurs in the cytoplasm of the cell and is present in all living organisms. In this process, glucose undergoes partial oxidation to form two molecules of pyruvic acid. In plants, this glucose is derived from sucrose, which is the end product of photosynthesis, or from storage of carbohydrate. Sucrose is converted into glucose and fructose by the enzyme invertase, and these two monosaccharides readily enter the glycolytic pathway. So this way the mechanism of glycolysis take place. Glucose and fructose are phosphorylated to give rise to glucose 6-phosphate by the activity of the enzyme hexokinase. This phosphorylated form of glucose then isomerizes to produce fructose 6-phosphate. Subsequent steps of metabolism of glucose and fructose are same. Various steps of glycolysis are repeated that we are going to study in next chart also. In glycolysis, a chain of 10 reactions under the control of different enzymes take place to produce pyruvate from glucose. So during this mechanism, actually glucose is converted into pyruvate. When we study step by step the entire mechanism of this glycolysis, then utilization or synthesis of ATP also take place, as well as it is related with NADH and H+ also. ATP is utilized at two steps here. First, in the conversion of glucose into glucose 6-phosphate, and second in the conversion of fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-biphosphate. So this way ATP is utilized at two steps during the mechanism of glycolysis. Fructose 1,6-biphosphate is split into dihydroxyacetone phosphate and 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde PGL. Then there is one step where NADH plus H plus is formed from NAD plus. This is when 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde PGL is converted to 1,3-biphosphoglycerate DPGA. Two redox equivalents are removed in the form of these two hydrogen atoms from PGL and are transferred to a molecule of NAD+. PGL is oxidized with inorganic phosphate to get converted into BPGA. The conversion of BPGA to 3-phosphoglyceric acid, that is PGA, is also an energy producing process. This energy is trapped by the formation of ATP. Another ATP is synthesized during the conversion of PEP to pyruvic acid. Now one question. Can you calculate how many ATP molecules are directly synthesized in this pathway from one glucose molecule? Here each NAD is equal to 3 ATP. So that net gain in glycolysis, when we calculate the net gain, that is glycolysis, 8 ATP molecule. Pyruvic acid is the key product of glycolysis. That is important here. What is the key product of glycolysis process? That is pyruvic acid. Further breakdown of this pyruvic acid depends upon the need of the cell. It means that as per requirement of cell of organism, it is further take place. In animal cells like muscles, during exercise, when oxygen is insufficient for aerobic respiration, at that time pyruvic acid is reduced to lactic acid. That is interesting here. By enzyme lactate dehydrogenase due to reduction by NADH2. So we can say pyruvic acid is the key product of glycolysis. Further breakdown of pyruvic acid depend upon the need of the cell. This chart is giving us entire mechanism, idea of process of glycolysis. Step by step the mechanism of glycolysis, that is the first step of aerobic respiration in organisms. Here you can see in this chart, it begins from glucose molecule, phosphorylation of glucose molecule, and ends with formation of two molecules of pyruvic acid. So step by step reactions take place. Glucose is converted into glucose 6-phosphate, then fructose 6-phosphate, fructose 1,6-biphosphate. During this 2 ATP are consumed. You can easily see here. Then triose phosphate is formed. NAD is converted into NADH, NH plus. Then triose biphosphate formation take place. Again in next step triose phosphate formation take place, that is 3-phosphoglyceric acid. During this ATP is formed. It is converted into 2-phosphoglycerate. Then in next reaction phosphoenol pyruvate PEP is formed. Here again in next step, when phosphoenol pyruvate is converted into pyruvic acid molecule, at that time one more molecule of ATP is formed. So here we can easily understand the entire mechanism of this glycolysis, step by step reaction, by studying this chart. And in short we can say, here at the end of this reaction, glucose is converted into two molecules of pyruvic acid. As we talked earlier, then pyruvic acid, which is a key product of glycolysis process, this is further it takes place in some cellular needs requirement, depends on the type of cell. There are three major ways in which different cells handle pyruvic acid produced by glycolysis. Here you can see in this chart also these three various options. They are lactic acid formation, second alcoholic fermentation, and third one is aerobic respiration. Fermentation takes place under anaerobic conditions in many prokaryotes and unicellular eukaryotes. For the complete oxidation of glucose to carbon dioxide and H2O, organisms adopt Krebs cycle, which is also called as aerobic respiration, and this required oxygen supply. So now we can understand pyruvic acid, which is a key product of glycolysis, is utilized by various cells, and there are three major ways of this. It may be lactic acid fermentation or alcoholic fermentation, or third one, that is aerobic respiration. Now let's discuss about fermentation process. In fermentation, we can also say which take place by yeast. Incomplete oxidation of glucose is achieved under anaerobic conditions by sets of reactions where pyruvic acid is converted to carbon dioxide and ethanol. The enzyme named pyruvic acid decarboxylase and alcohol dehydrogenase catalyze these reactions. Other organisms like some bacteria produce lactic acid from pyruvic acid. The steps involved that we are going to study in chart also. There are various steps of this reaction. In animal cells also, like muscles, during exercise, when oxygen is inadequate for cellular respiration, pyruvic acid is reduced to lactic acid by lactate dehydrogenase. The reducing agent is NADH plus H plus, which is reoxidized to NAD plus in both the processes. In both lactic acid and alcohol fermentation, not much energy is released. Less than 7% of the energy in glucose is released, and not all of this trap as high energy bonds of ATP. Also the process there are hazards, either acid or alcohol is produced. Here in this chart you can see the major pathways of anaerobic respiration. In this chart you can study, first of all, as per mechanism of glycolysis, glucose is converted into pyruvic acid, and now this pyruvic acid, as per the type of cell, different cell, say further process take place. Here you can see in this anaerobic type of respiration, during this pathway, pyruvic acid may be converted into lactic acid, one option, and another option you can see, that is pyruvic acid is converted into ethanol and carbon dioxide. So here we can see the conversion of pyruvic acid depends on the type of cell during anaerobic respiration. Yeast poison themselves to death when the concentration of alcohol reaches about 13%. That is interesting here. Yeast which show the anaerobic respiration fermentation. Then we can say this fermentation process is also important for alcoholic beverages. Alcoholic content greater than this concentration also. So by this process actually the organism can carry out the complete oxidation of glucose and extract the energy stored to synthesize a large number of ATP molecules needed for cellular maximum. But during this anaerobic respiration, we can say less amount of energy is achieved comparatively, During aerobic respiration, more amount of energy is released, but during anaerobic respiration, less amount of energy is released. In eukaryotes, these steps take place within the mitochondria and requires oxygen. So, aerobic respiration is the process that leads to the complete oxidation of organic substance in the presence of oxygen and release carbon dioxide, water and large amount of energy present in the substrate. So, this type of aerobic respiration is most common in higher organism, and it is divided into 3 steps, that is glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and then third step of this reaction, that is complete oxidation process.